Hey everyone, welcome to homework 3.4. Today we looked at more exponential functions, but with more of a focus on decay. So let's go ahead and get into it. So a new bicycle sells for $300. It is on sale for 1/4 off the regular price. Select all the expressions that represent the sale price of the bicycle in dollars. So the sale price is what's left of the 1/4, which means it's 3/4 of 300, which is what is left. So remember, that's when we looked at today. 1 minus 1/4, right, equals 3/4, because we're taking the total amount minus the part that we're taking off, right, the discount. And so what's left then is 3/4 of the original cost, or 75% of the original cost. So we can represent that as B, right, 300 times 3/4. We can represent it as C, because this is the 1 minus the 1/4 piece. And we can also represent that as E, because if we were to distribute 300 through 1 minus 1/4, that's what we would get, okay, because we're taking 1/4 off of 300 and then subtracting that from the original price. So all of those are accurate. A obviously will give us the discount, but it won't give us the sale price. And D will give us 299 3/4, which doesn't have anything to do with the problem, right? So D is kind of like a distractor. And A gives us the discount. All right, number 2. A computer costs $800. It loses 1/4 of its value each year after it is purchased. This is called depreciation, when something costs a certain amount or is worth a certain amount, but over time it loses its value. So it says complete the table to show the value. So it starts at $800 and then it loses 1/4 of its value. So minus 1/4 of 800, or it retains 3/4 of its value. So 800, right, and 3/4 is the same as 0.75. For the purposes of using your calculators, I would, in this case, convert this to a decimal, and you're going to get 600. And then each time here, we're multiplying by 0.75. And so that's our factor. Our rate is 1/4, right? It's losing 1/4. So then 600 times 0.75 gives us 450, times 0.75 gives us 337.5. And then if we're writing our equation, we have the original amount times the factor, which is 0.75, to the power of t, or that time in years. You could also write this as 800 times 3/4 to the power of t. It's the same thing, because 3/4 is equivalent to 0.75. So our equation with v equals value equals 800 times 0.75 to the power of t. It says use your equation to find v when t is 5. So after 5 years, v equals 800 times 0.75 to the 5th power. 0.75 to the 5th power, remember you need to do that part first, is going to be 0.2373, it's a long number, but times 800 gives you 189 and 84 cents. We'll round to the nearest cent. And so this means after 5 years, it is worth this much money. All right, a piece of paper is folded into thirds multiple times. The area A of the piece of paper in square inches after n folds is A equals 90 times 1/3 to the power of n. What is the value of A when n is 0? So we can plug this in and we'll know that this equals 1, because anything to the 0th power is 1. But we also recognize that 0 means it's the original value, right? So it would be 90, and it's in square inches. So 90 inches squared, and this is the starting size of the paper. All right. It says how many folds are needed before the area is less than 1 square inch. So we want, in this case, 1 square inch is replacing the area. So 1 equals 90 times 1/3 to the power of what, right? To the power of n folds. So to start, we're going to divide by 90 on both sides. And so 1 divided by 90 is a pretty small number. It's 0.0111111 equals 1/3 n. So we want to figure out how many times will it take me to multiply 1/3 by itself to get that. So if it's just putting in your calculator 1 divided by 3, which is going to give you 0.33333333, you should start to recognize these common fractions as decimals. And then we're going to try squaring that, right? So if we square that, we get 0.11111. So actually, it's only going to need 2 folds before it's going to get pretty small. Oh, I'm sorry. That gives me 0.1111, not 0.0011. I was like, that 1 fold isn't enough. All right, so let's try 1 divided by 3. That gives us 0.333. Let's try to the 5th power. So to the 5th power gives me 0.004. All right, so if I do 1/3 to the 5th power, I get 0.004. That's still not small enough, so let's try another one. 1 divided by 3, or 1/3 to the, I think we should only need to go up a little bit more. Let's try to the 7th power. So the 7th power is too small. It gives me 1.0004. So that means if we do 1 divided by 3 to the 6th power, we get 0.00137. So it's going to take, just double check, 2 divided by 3. That's actually 2. It's going to be somewhere between the 4th and 5th fold. Okay, so if you put 1/3, actually went the wrong way here. You put 1/3 to the 4th power, you get 0.012, which is still a little bit too big, right? But if we put 1/3 to the 5th power, we get 0.004. All right, so for it to be less than 1 square inch, it's going to take 5 folds, right? But 4 folds is going to get us close. It still won't be quite small enough at that point, though. Letter C says the area of another piece of paper in square inches after n folds is given by B equals 100 times 1/2 to the power of n. What do the numbers 100 and 1/2 mean in this situation? So 100 is original area of paper in inches squared. And then the number 1/2 means we are folding it in half, right? It's losing half of its area each time. So we could also say our factor is 0.5. We're multiplying it by 0.5. All right, number 4, at the beginning of April, a colony of ants has a population of 5,000. That's our starting amount. The colony decreases by 1/5 during April. Write an expression for the ant population at the end of April. So it's decreasing by 1/5. That's the rate. The factor, though, is 1 minus 1/5, which is going to give us 4/5. And if you convert that to a decimal, you'll get 0.8. So we would have 5,000 times our factor of 0.8 to the power of t or x or whatever you want it to be for time. Okay. It says during May, the colony decreases again by 1/5 of its size. Write an expression for the ant population at the end of May. Okay, so this is actually just for April, so we didn't need t. That would be to the 1. So this is 5,000 times 0.8. And then this is giving us the next month. It's 5,000 times 0.8 times 0.8. Okay, or 5,000 times 0.8 squared. And then it says the colony continues to decrease by 1/5, so we're going to do 5,000 times 0.8 to the 5th, to the 6th power, because 6 months. All right, So the thing to keep in mind and remember here is it's decreasing by 1/5, which means our factor is 1 minus 1/5, just to review that, which gives us 4/5 left. That's how much is left after the population decrease. Number 5, Lynn has 13 mystery novels. Each month she gets 2 more. Select all expressions that represent the total mystery. So she's getting 2 more. This is a linear function, so 13 plus 3 times 2, or 13 plus 2 times 2, or 13 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So it would be this one, or it could be this one. It cannot be this one because we are not multiplying, right? We're not saying she doubles. We're saying she gets 2 more, so it's added 2 more. And then 13 plus 6 is 19, so we can say that as well. All right, number 6 says an odometer is part of a car's dashboard, and it shows the number of miles a car has traveled in a lifetime. So before the trip, it starts at 15,000. This is the amount we're starting at. During the trip, the car travels 65 miles per hour. Complete the table. So after 1 hour, then the car has traveled another 65 miles, right? So 15,065. After 2 hours, then it's going to have traveled another 65 miles. So 15,065 plus 65 gives us 15,130 plus 65, 15,195 plus 65, 15,260 plus 65 is 15,325. So here we are adding 65 miles on our speedometer every hour because that's how fast the car is traveling, right? So the differences are the same because this right here is a linear function. It's increasing its distance by the same amount every hour. If the odometer reads n miles at a particular hour, what will it read 1 hour later? So n miles plus 65. And again, this is a review of linear functions, not of an exponential function. All right, so we have a couple of reviews. This is a review of systems of equations and then a review of functions. So let's take a look first at this review of systems of equations. So you have 16 and 28 ounce jars, and they donated 1,876 ounces of peanut butter. So let's say we have 16x plus 28y equals 1,876 ounces, and total of 82 jars. So x plus y, the number of jars, equals 82. That's our system of equations. It says how many 16-ounce jars and how many 28-ounce jars of peanut butter were donated to the food bank. Explain or show how you know. So this now would be, we need to figure out a solution to the system of equations. So I would suggest for this one that we multiply by -16 and eliminate x. I think that's going to be your easiest way. So it's a review of elimination. So you'll have 16x plus 28y equals 1876. And then we have -16x minus 16y equals 82 times -16 gives us -1,312. Now I can combine these. This will cancel out. This becomes 12y. Just make sure you get 12y equals 1876 minus 1312 is 564. And then we can divide both sides by 12 and we will get 47. So y equals 47, which means that one kind, believe it is our larger jar of peanut butter, we'll have 47 of those. And then if we have a total of 82 minus 47, that means the other one, x, equals 35. Okay, so 35 16-ounce jars and 47 28-ounce jars. All right, number 2, a function multiplies its input by 3/4. Okay, so 3/4 times x, and then adds 7 to get its output. So use function notation. We're just going to put an f of x in front of that. 3, a function is defined by this equation. If f of 0, we're going to plug 0 in here. and in for our x. So f of 0 equals 2 times 0 minus 5 equals negative 5. Plugging in 1/2, f of 1/2 equals 2 times 1/2 minus 5 equals 2 times 1/2 is 1, so this is going to be negative 4, 1 minus 5. And then if we do f of 100, f of 100 equals 2 times 100 minus 5. You can fill that out on your own. And then our last piece is what is x when f of x equals 9? So when f of x equals 9, I'm replacing f of x with 9. So 9 equals 2x minus 5. If I add 5 to both sides, I'll get 14 equals 2x. This cancels out. Divide both sides by 2, x equals 7. All right, that is it for your homework. If there's anything that I've gone over that you have a question about, please make sure to text or call and get some help. Your code word for today is paperclip. Paperclip is your code word. Please make sure to write that at the top here. Happy homeworking, and I'll see you tomorrow.